The museum was inaugurated in 1891 by Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria-Hungary, built to house the Habsburgs' vast private collections. It was designed as a public institution, making art accessible to everyone. The museum reflects the Habsburgs' dedication to culture and education. The story of the Kunsthistorisches Museum begins in the late 19th century. During the height of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Vienna, the imperial capital, was a hub of politics, culture, and intellectual life. It was also the seat of the Habsburg dynasty, one of Europe's most powerful ruling families, whose reign spanned centuries. By the 1800s, the Habsburgs had amassed an enormous collection of art, artifacts, and treasures from across Europe and beyond. These included paintings, sculptures, ancient coins, decorative arts, jewelry, tapestries, and rare manuscripts. Initially, these collections were private, stored in palaces and court buildings, accessible only to royalty and selected scholars. But Emperor Franz Joseph I, who ruled from 1848 to 1916, had a vision that went beyond personal possession. He believed that art should not be confined to the elite. It should inspire the public and serve as a tool for education and cultural enrichment. In 1871, the decision was made to construct a grand museum specifically to house the Habsburg collections. This was a monumental undertaking. The aim was not only to provide a functional exhibition space, but also to create a building that reflected the glory, sophistication, and authority of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The museum would become a symbol of Vienna's cultural leadership in Europe and of the Habsburgs' commitment to preserving human creativity. The architects Gottfried Semper and Karl Hassenauer were commissioned to design the museum. They envisioned a neo-Renaissance palace of art, one that would harmonize with the nearby Naturhistorisches Museum, Natural History Museum, which mirrored it across Maria. The twin museums were intended as part of a larger imperial project to transform the city center into a cultural and intellectual showcase. Construction began in the 8th, taking nearly 2 decades to complete. Every element, from the monumental facade to the intricate decorative details inside, was meticulously planned. Marble, from across Europe, gilded ornamentation, and frescoes by leading artists of the era were used to reflect the wealth, taste, and sophistication of the Habsburg court. Finally, in 1891, the Kunsthistorisches Museum opened its doors to the public. Unlike private collections that required court permission, this museum welcomed scholars, students, artists, and citizens alike. It was a revolutionary idea at the time, the democratization of art, making the cultural treasures of centuries available to anyone who walked through its doors. The museum's creation was also deeply political. It reinforced the Habsburgs' image as enlightened rulers, patrons of the arts, and champions of education. It was a statement to the world. Vienna was a center of culture, refinement, and civilization. The Kunsthistorisches Museum, therefore, was not just a building or a collection. It was a monument to the power of art, the vision of a dynasty, and the enduring legacy of European cultural history. The Kunsthistorisches Museum is not just a home for art, it is a masterpiece in itself. Its architecture was designed to impress, inspire, and reflect the grandeur of the Habsburg dynasty. The architects, Gottfried Semper and Karl Hassenauer, envisioned a building that would rival the greatest museums of Europe, while harmonizing with Vienna's Imperial SCAPE. Construction began in the 1870s and continued for almost 2 decades. The building was strategically placed on Maria Theresienplatz, directly across from the Naturhistorisches Museum, creating a symmetrical, visually striking cultural hub. This intentional pairing of art and natural history symbolized the Habsburgs' commitment to both intellectual and aesthetic enlightenment. The museum's design is firmly rooted in the Neo-Renaissance style, which was popular in Europe during the 19th century. The facade is monumental, adorned with Corinthian columns, statues, and reliefs depicting famous artists and allegories of the arts. Above the main entrance, visitors are greeted by a grand pediment featuring allegorical sculptures, celebrating painting, sculpture, and architecture. Inside, the museum continues to awe. The grand staircase is a central highlight, stretching over several floors and crowned with a massive dome. The staircase is decorated with frescoes by Ernst Klimt and Franz Mach, including mythological and allegorical scenes that celebrate human creativity and artistic genius. Gilded railings, marble floors, and decorative stucco work enhance the sense of luxury and imperial prestige. The dome itself is one of the architectural marvels of the museum. Painted with elaborate allegorical scenes, it represents the union of the arts and the triumph of creativity over time. Light filters in from windows around the dome, illuminating the central hall and creating a sense of awe as visitors ascend the staircase. The galleries were designed with both function and aesthetics in mind. Wide halls, high ceilings, and strategically placed windows ensure that natural light enhances the viewing of artworks, while the arrangement of rooms allows for a chronological and thematic journey through art history. Visitors can move seamlessly from Renaissance masterpieces to Baroque grandeur and beyond, all within an architectural environment that complements the beauty of the collection. Even small details were carefully considered. Floors are often made of intricately patterned marble. Walls feature subtle, stucco reliefs, and decorative cornices frame the ceilings. Every element contributes to the experience of walking through a palace dedicated to art, a building where the architecture itself is part of the story, setting the stage for the treasures it holds. The Kunsthistorisches Museum stands, today, as a testament not only to the vision of the Habsburgs but also to 19th-century European craftsmanship and architectural excellence. Every visitor entering its halls is reminded that in Vienna, art and architecture are inseparable partners in celebrating human achievement. One of the crown jewels of the Kunsthistorisches Museum is its picture gallery, home to an extraordinary collection of European paintings spanning the 14th to the 18th centuries. This gallery alone attracts thousands of visitors every year, offering an unparalleled glimpse into the evolution of European art. The gallery was designed to showcase the Habsburgs' private collection in a way that emphasized both chronology and thematic importance. Each room is carefully arranged to guide visitors through the development of painting across regions, styles, and movements, from the meticulous detail of Flemish works to the dramatic dynamism of Baroque masterpieces. Among the most celebrated works is Peter Bruegel, The Elders, The Tower of Babel, painted in the 16th century. This masterpiece draws viewers into a world of meticulous architectural detail and tiny human figures engaged in everyday activity. Bruegel's work is not only visually stunning, but also rich in symbolism, reflecting human ambition, pride, and the consequences of hubris. Visitors often find themselves standing for minutes, or even hours, studying the intricate details, which reveal hidden stories within the larger composition. The gallery also features works by Peter Paul Rubens, whose monumental canvases capture mythological, religious, and historical scenes with a sense of grandeur and movement. Rubens' bold brushwork, vibrant colors, and dramatic compositions create an almost cinematic experience, enveloping the viewer in the world of the narrative. Other highlights include paintings by Titian, the Venetian master known for his exquisite use of color and portraiture; Caravaggio, whose use of chiaroscuro transformed Baroque art by creating intense contrasts of light and shadow; Rembrandt, celebrated for his psychological depth and mastery of light; and Velázquez, whose royal portraits and mythological scenes reveal subtle complexity and refinement. The picture gallery is organized not just to display artworks but to tell stories across centuries. Each room invites reflection on artistic innovation, cultural influence, and historical context. Visitors can trace the evolution of painting techniques, observe shifts in composition and perspective, and understand how political, religious, and social factors shape the themes and subjects of the time. Walking through the gallery, one is constantly reminded of the Habsburgs' discerning eye for art. The collection reflects their ambition to create a comprehensive visual record of European achievement. A gallery where every painting is chosen for its historical aesthetic and cultural significance. Beyond the masterpieces, the gallery also contains lesser-known works that reveal hidden gems of European art, including portraits, still lifes, and landscapes. These pieces provide insight into everyday life, fashion, and customs of earlier centuries, enriching the visitor's experience and understanding of history through art. The picture gallery at the Kunsthistorisches Museum is more than a room filled with paintings. It is a living chronicle of human creativity, a space where centuries of artistic brilliance converge under one roof. Every brushstroke, every carefully framed composition tells a story of vision, skill, and the enduring power of art to inspire and educate. One of the most fascinating and unique parts of the Kunsthistorisches Museum is the Kunst, often referred to as the Cabinet of Wonders. Unlike the picture gallery, which focuses on traditional paintings, the Kunstkammer immerses visitors in a world of curiosity, craftsmanship, and extraordinary objects that reflect the Renaissance fascination with the unusual, rare, and precious. The concept of a Kunstkammer originated in the 16th century, when European collectors, often royalty or wealthy merchants, gathered objects from nature, science, and art to create a microcosm of the world. These cabinets included exquisite jewelry, rare gems, mechanical devices, scientific instruments, miniatures, and artistic curiosities. They were intended not only to display wealth and taste, but also to demonstrate knowledge, intellect, and a deep curiosity about the universe. At the Habsburg court, the Kunstkammer grew into one of the most impressive collections of its kind. When the museum was established, these treasures were carefully transferred and displayed to preserve their historical significance while making them accessible to the public. Today, the Kunstkammer occupies a dedicated space that highlights both the beauty and ingenuity of each piece. Among the highlights are intricate automata mechanical devices that astonished viewers with movement, ingenuity, and precision. Some were designed to mimic animals or humans, performing delicate motions that seemed almost magical in the 16th and 17th centuries. These devices demonstrate the early intersection of art, science, and technology. Showcasing the Habsburgs' fascination with innovation and ingenuity, the collection also features rare gemstones, elaborate cups, and decorative objects crafted from precious metals, ivory, and exotic materials. Many of these items were commissioned by royalty or acquired from distant lands, reflecting the global reach of the Habsburg Empire. Each piece tells a story of artistic skill, cultural exchange, and historical context, offering visitors a glimpse into the luxurious and intricate world of Renaissance courts. Another significant aspect of the Kunstkammer is its medieval and Renaissance coins, medals, and engraved objects. These small but significant items provide insight into economics, politics, and artistry, often combining both symbolic and practical purposes. Collecting and displaying such objects was considered a mark of sophistication and intellectual curiosity among the elite. The Kunstkammer is more than a display of wealth. It is a testament to human curiosity and creativity. Every object, from the tiniest gem to the most complex automaton, represents centuries of craftsmanship, experimentation, and aesthetic vision. Walking through this collection, visitors experience a sense of wonder similar to what early collectors felt, a mix of awe, curiosity, and admiration for the extraordinary diversity of human achievement. In the modern context, the Kunstkammer serves as a bridge between art, science, and history. It reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge and beauty has always been intertwined, and that the objects we create, whether for practical use, decoration, or curiosity, can inspire, educate, and connect us across time. The Cabinet of Wonders at the Kunsthistorisches Museum is not only a highlight for collectors and historians, it is a space that captures the imagination of every visitor, inviting them to explore, ponder, and marvel at the extraordinary range of human creativity. Beyond the masterpieces of the Renaissance and Baroque periods, the Kunsthistorisches Museum houses an extraordinary collection of ancient art, spanning civilizations from Egypt, Greece, and Rome. These collections provide visitors with a tangible connection to the origins of Western culture, revealing the artistic, religious, and social practices of civilizations that laid the foundation for much of European history. The Egyptian and Near Eastern collection includes artifacts dating back thousands of years. Visitors can admire intricately carved sarcophagi, funerary masks, statues of deities, and jewelry that once adorned the elite of ancient societies. Each piece reflects the Egyptian emphasis on the afterlife, religious symbolism, and meticulous craftsmanship. Objects such as amulets, pottery, and ceremonial tools demonstrate the daily life, beliefs, and technological skills of ancient peoples. The Greek and Roman collections are equally impressive. Marble sculptures, including statues of gods, athletes, and philosophers, reveal a mastery of anatomy, proportion, and realism. Visitors can explore intricate reliefs and mosaics that once decorated temples, public buildings, and private homes, offering insight into the aesthetics, mythology, and social structures of ancient Mediterranean civilizations. One of the most remarkable aspects of these collections is the range of decorative arts and everyday objects. From elaborately decorated vases and jewelry to coins, weapons, and household tools, each artifact provides a window into the cultural and economic life of its era. The coins, in particular, are significant for understanding the political and economic networks of ancient societies, as well as the evolution of portraiture and symbolism. The museum also houses ceramics, glassware, and metalwork that illustrate the technical innovations and artistic styles of ancient civilizations. Visitors can compare the geometric precision of Greek pottery with the delicate inlays of Roman glass, witnessing firsthand the sophistication of artisans across centuries. What sets the museum apart is not just the quantity, but the quality and historical significance of these ancient collections. Many of the pieces were acquired by the Habsburgs through diplomacy, conquest, and trade, making the museum a repository of world history as well as European culture. The ancient art collections invite reflection on the continuity of human creativity. Standing before a Greek statue or an Egyptian artifact, visitors can trace the lineage of artistic techniques, motifs, and ideals that influenced later European art. It becomes clear that the Renaissance and Baroque masterpieces admired elsewhere in the museum are built upon foundations laid by these early civilizations. In exploring the ancient collections, visitors are reminded that art is not only a product of its time, but also a bridge across millennia, connecting us to the beliefs, values, and achievements of people who lived thousands of years ago. It is an experience of history, culture, and humanity, all captured within the walls of a single museum. While the Kunsthistorisches Museum's collections are vast, certain paintings and artists stand out as cornerstones of European art history. These masterpieces not only define the museum's prestige, but also offer visitors a profound connection to the cultural, religious, and social currents of their times. One of the highlights is Peter Bruegel the Elder, a Flemish Renaissance painter whose works are celebrated for their intricate detail and vivid depictions of everyday life. Bruegel's paintings, such as the Tower of Babel and the fight between Carnival and Lint, capture human activity with astonishing precision. Every figure, gesture, and architectural element tells a story, reflecting the customs, humor, and challenges of 16th-century society. His paintings are more than visual spectacles, they are historical documents that reveal the rhythms of life centuries ago. The museum also houses numerous works by Peter Paul Rubens, the Flemish Baroque master known for his dynamic compositions and vibrant colors. Rubens' canvases, including mythological scenes and grand religious works, explode with movement, emotion, and drama. Visitors are often struck by the sheer scale of his paintings and the way light and shadow interact to create a sense of depth and energy. Rubens' art demonstrates how painting can convey both narrative and spectacle, engaging viewers on multiple levels. Titian, the Venetian master of color and portraiture, is another central figure. His works, including portraits of royalty and allegorical compositions, showcase his ability to manipulate color, light, and texture to evoke emotion and personality. Titian's influence on subsequent generations of artists cannot be overstated. His techniques shaped the course of Renaissance painting and beyond. The museum also features Caravaggio, whose revolutionary use of chiaroscuro, the dramatic contrast between light and dark, transformed Baroque art. Caravaggio's religious and mythological scenes draw viewers into the intensity of the moment, making the subjects feel immediate and human. The psychological realism in his works is striking, bridging the divine and the earthly in ways that continue to inspire artists and audiences alike. Rembrandt van Rijn, the Dutch master, is celebrated for his portraits, self-portraits, and biblical scenes. His paintings reveal unparalleled insight into human emotion, combining subtle light effects with deep psychological understanding. Visitors often find themselves captivated by the sense of intimacy and realism that Rembrandt achieves, making the viewer feel as if they are sharing a private moment with the subject. Diego Velázquez, the Spanish court painter, is represented in the museum by works that showcase his sophisticated approach to portraiture and narrative painting. His use of perspective, nuanced color palette, and ability to capture character and status in royal and mythological subjects solidify his place among the greatest painters in history. Together, these artists represent the apex of European painting. Covering the Renaissance, Baroque, and early modern periods, their works are not isolated masterpieces but part of a continuum showing the evolution of technique, the influence of cultural and political forces, and the enduring human quest to express emotion, power, and beauty through art. Visitors to the Kunsthistorisches Museum are not merely looking at paintings. They are stepping into centuries of artistic innovation, intellectual exploration, and cultural storytelling. Every brushstroke, composition, and color choice reveals a universe of meaning, making this section of the museum both visually stunning and intellectually enriching. The notable paintings and artist collection serves as the heart of the museum, reminding us that art is a dialogue across time, a conversation between the artist, the subject, and every viewer who stands before it. While the paintings at the Kunsthistorisches Museum are breathtaking, the museum's sculpture and decorative arts collections reveal another dimension of human creativity, three-dimensional artistry that combines technical skill, aesthetic beauty, and historical significance. The sculpture collection spans ancient, Renaissance, and Baroque periods, offering a comprehensive look at the evolution of form, expression, and symbolism. Visitors encounter marble statues of gods, heroes, and historical figures, each carved with extraordinary precision and attention to anatomical accuracy. From the serene grace of classical Greek figures to the dynamic movement of Baroque compositions, these sculptures demonstrate how artists captured both physical realism and emotional depth. Among the highlights are intricately carved busts of emperors and royalty, which convey authority, personality, and cultural ideals. These portraits were not merely decorative, they were instruments of political and social communication, designed to project power, wisdom, and legitimacy. Walking among them, visitors can feel the weight of history and the careful intentions behind each work. The decorative arts collection complements the sculptures, encompassing furniture, textiles, metalwork, ceramics, glass, and jewelry. These objects reveal the meticulous craftsmanship and artistic vision of European artisans across centuries. For example, ornate gold and silver tableware, ceremonial vessels, and jeweled objects illustrate the opulence of Habsburg courts and the technical mastery required to create them. Visitors are also struck by miniature carvings and enamel works, which demonstrate patience, skill, and a fascination with fine detail. These objects, often small in scale but enormous in complexity, reflect the Renaissance and Baroque pursuit of beauty in every form. From grand architecture to delicate personal items, the museum's armor and weapons collection offers a fascinating glimpse into the intersection of art and utility. Ornate swords, shields, and ceremonial armor were not only functional but also decorated with intricate motifs, heraldic symbols, and engraved scenes. They demonstrate how artistry and craftsmanship were integrated into even the most practical objects. transforming tools of war into expressions of status, identity, and aesthetic refinement. Sculptures and decorative arts also help contextualize the paintings and historical narratives elsewhere in the museum. By examining three-dimensional objects alongside paintings, visitors can better understand cultural values, social hierarchies, and the material realities of life in past centuries. The overall effect of the sculpture and decorative arts galleries is immersive. Visitors move through spaces filled with objects that appeal to the eye, mind, and imagination. Each piece, whether a monumental statue or a tiny enameled box, a story about human ingenuity, technical mastery, and the desire to create objects of beauty and meaning. In short, the sculpture and decorative arts collections bring history to life in three dimensions, reminding us that art is not confined to canvas but extends into the world of objects, spaces, and everyday experiences. They offer a tactile, tangible connection to the past, enriching the visitor's journey through the museum. Entering the Kunsthistorisches Museum is like stepping into a palace of art, where the building itself is as much a masterpiece as the collections it houses. Every corridor, hall, and gallery has been carefully designed to create a harmonious balance between architecture, decoration, and the display of artworks. At the heart of the museum is the Grand Staircase, a monumental architectural feature that immediately captures the visitor's attention. The staircase spans multiple floors and is crowned by a massive dome, flooded with natural light from strategically placed windows. The walls and ceilings are adorned with frescoes by Ernst Klimt, Franz Mach, and Hans Machart, depicting allegories of painting, sculpture, music, and poetry. These works celebrate the power of the arts and guide visitors into the museum's narrative journey. The dome itself is a marvel of 19th-century design, with elaborate allegorical paintings that symbolize the triumph of human creativity. As sunlight filters through, it illuminates the central hall, casting a warm glow that enhances the grandeur of the staircase and surrounding galleries. Visitors often pause here, not only to admire the art but also to absorb the sense of scale, craftsmanship, and imperial vision that defines the museum. The galleries are designed to facilitate both chronological and thematic exploration. Wide halls, high ceilings, and large windows allow natural light to highlight the colors, textures, and details of each artwork. The layout encourages visitors to move seamlessly from one period to another, tracing the evolution of artistic styles while appreciating the architectural setting. Ornate marble floors, gilded moldings, and sculpted cornices add layers of richness to the visitor experience. Even seemingly small details like decorative motifs, framing doorways, or subtle reliefs on the walls reflect the attention to craftsmanship that characterizes the entire building. Every element works in harmony to create an environment where art is celebrated not just as isolated objects, but as part of a larger, immersive experience. The museum also incorporates smaller, intimate spaces that provide a contrast to the grandeur of the central halls. These rooms allow visitors to study delicate objects, detailed paintings, and intricate decorative arts in a quiet, reflective setting. This thoughtful balance between monumental and personal spaces enhances the visitor's journey, ensuring that every object and artwork is presented with dignity and context. The interior highlights extend beyond the galleries. Grand corridors, sweeping staircases, and ornate lounges showcase the museum's architectural elegance, while also connecting different sections of the collection. Each area offers unique viewpoints and perspectives, allowing visitors to appreciate both the individual artworks and the overall spatial design. In essence, the interiors of the Kunsthistorisches Museum are a celebration of art, architecture, and design working in perfect harmony. Walking through its halls is a multisensory experience. The eye is captivated by frescoes and gilding. The mind is engaged by the chronological flow of art, and the spirit is inspired by the grandeur of a building that embodies centuries of cultural ambition. The museum is not just a place to see art, it is a space where architecture and decoration become part of the storytelling, creating a journey that is as visually stunning as it is intellectually enriching. Visiting the Kunsthistorisches Museum is more than just observing art. It is a fully immersive experience that engages the senses, intellect, and imagination. From the moment visitors approach the Grand Facade to their final steps through the galleries, every element has been carefully designed to provide a journey through history, culture, and creativity. The museum welcomes visitors of all backgrounds, reflecting the original Habsburg vision of making art accessible to the public. Its layout is thoughtfully organized, allowing guests to explore the collections chronologically, thematically, or at their own pace. Each gallery flows seamlessly into the next, ensuring that the visitor experiences a coherent narrative of European art and culture. Guided tours and educational programs are available, offering deeper insights into the works on display. Knowledgeable guides provide context about historical events, artistic techniques, and the lives of the artists themselves, enriching the visitor's understanding and appreciation. For students, scholars, and art enthusiasts, these tours transform a museum visit into a learning adventure, revealing the stories behind every masterpiece. Photography is permitted in most galleries, allowing visitors to capture memories and share the beauty of the museum with others. Many enthusiasts take advantage of the dramatic lighting, the grand staircases, and the intricate details of both the artworks and the architecture to create stunning, personal photographs. The museum also caters to comfort and reflection. Quiet areas and lounges provide spaces to pause, absorb the surroundings, or study individual works in detail. The Museum Café, with its traditional Viennese atmosphere, allows visitors to relax while enjoying coffee, pastries, and views of Maria, enhancing the cultural experience with a taste of Vienna itself. Special exhibitions and temporary displays provide fresh perspectives and introduce contemporary scholarship and artistic dialogue into the historical collections. Visitors often encounter new interpretations, modern curatorial techniques, and rare loans from other international institutions, making repeat visits continually rewarding. The interactive experience is further enhanced by detailed signage, digital guides, and sometimes even multimedia installations that explain artistic techniques, historical context, and the significance of specific objects. These tools ensure that visitors of all ages and levels of familiarity with art can engage meaningfully with the museum's vast collection. Finally, the sheer scale of the Kunsthistorisches Museum adds to the visitor experience. Walking through its grand halls, monumental staircases, and elaborate galleries, one feels a sense of awe and wonder that complements the study of individual artworks. It is a journey that engages curiosity, encourages reflection, and creates lasting memories of both the artworks themselves and the cultural environment in which they are displayed. The museum embodies the vision of the Habsburg dynasty, who sought not only to preserve their collections but also to share them with the public, fostering education and cultural appreciation. By opening its doors in 1891, the museum set a standard for accessibility and scholarship, inspiring the creation of public museums across Europe and beyond. Its collections ranging from ancient artifacts to Renaissance and Baroque masterpieces provide insight into the evolution of human artistic achievement. Visitors can trace the development of painting, sculpture, and decorative arts, while also understanding the social, political, and religious contexts that shaped these works. This continuity across centuries underscores the museum's role as a bridge between past and present, connecting generations through shared cultural heritage. The museum has also played a vital role in art, historical research, and preservation. Scholars from around the world study its collections to understand artistic techniques, provenance, and historical context. The careful curation and conservation of objects ensure that these treasures will continue to educate and inspire future generations. Moreover, the Kunsthistorisches Museum serves as a cultural ambassador, attracting millions of visitors from across the globe. Its exhibitions, publications, and collaborative projects with other museums foster dialogue and exchange, highlighting Vienna's enduring role as a center of art, culture, and learning. In a broader sense, the museum's legacy lies in its ability to inspire awe and curiosity. Whether a visitor is captivated by a monumental Rubens painting, a delicate Renaissance automaton, or an ancient Greek sculpture, the experience sparks reflection, imagination, and appreciation for human creativity. The museum reminds us that art is not merely decoration, it is a mirror of society, a record of history, and a source of enduring inspiration. The Kunsthistorisches Museum is a journey through time, creativity, and human achievement. Its grand architecture, priceless collections, and rich history offer visitors a profound encounter with art, culture, and intellectual heritage. From the opulent halls of the Grand Staircase to the intimate marvels of the Kunst, every corner of the museum tells a stories of emperors and artists, of civilizations past, and of humanity's timeless quest to create beauty and meaning. So, whether you are an art lover, a history enthusiast, or a curious traveler, the Kunsthistorisches Museum promises an experience that is both inspiring and unforgettable. Step inside, explore its treasures, and let the legacy of centuries of artistic brilliance captivate your imagination.